What's up, everyone? Welcome to the March 22nd edition of FanDuel Tournament Plays presented by PrizePicks. I'm your host, Adam Scherer. You can follow me on Twitter at ShipMyMoneyDFS. And as a reminder, you get one free month of Awesemo Plus Platinum when you sign up and make a deposit at PrizePicks. Be sure to use the code Awesemo to receive a 100% first deposit bonus up to $100. We have a 4-game NBA slate tonight. We're going to take a look at 5 of the top tournament options on FanDuel using the Boom Bust tool on the Awesemo.com website. As always, be sure to tune in to the deeper dive and live before lock in the 2 hours before tip on the Awesemo YouTube channel for more up-to-date ownership projections, player projections, injury news, all of that. But for now, taking a look at 5 of the top tournament options as things currently stand. Starting at number 5, Mitchell Robinson, $6,100. Center only. He's projected for about 5% ownership with a 10% chance of being in the optimal lineup. Not particularly likely to succeed, but also not getting much ownership and does have a very high ceiling here. Robinson doesn't see much of a change in production with or without Julius Randle on the floor, but he does have very volatile playing time, and that can be pretty appealing when you're talking low ownership in tournaments because on average, you're going to get 26, 27 minutes from Robinson. He's going to produce around a fantasy point per minute and just be, a decent option at 6,100. But he does have those 34 to 36-minute games in his range of outcomes. He offers plenty of block upside, which we know can really set you apart on FanDuel. And, again, just not getting much ownership. So on a slate where, and I think you'll see as we go through the rest of this video, on a slate where a lot of the best plays are also extremely popular, finding a high upside, low owned option like Robinson to help balance out your lineup can be really important. Number 4, Klay Thompson, $7,000 price tag, shooting guard eligible. He's projected for about 24% ownership with a 26% chance of being in the optimal lineup. Thompson has a 27.1% usage rate and has averaged 1.13 FanDuel points per minute without Steph Curry on the floor this year. He's also coming off of a game where he played about 38 minutes his last time out, so there's no reason to be concerned about his playing time, a minutes limit, all of that stuff's out the window. Good matchup tonight against Orlando, and we know that Thompson is more than capable of just taking over a game and being the primary scorer for Golden State. Number 3, Trae Young, $10,200 point guard. He's projected for 31% ownership with a 35% chance of being in the optimal lineup. Young goes back to the Garden, which is always a good time, and he will be playing without John Collins. He also may be playing without Bogdan Bogdanovic, which would be even more beneficial for Young. Without Collins on the floor this year, Young has averaged 1.37 FanDuel points per minute. If you take Bogdanovic off the floor as well, Young has averaged 1.44 FanDuel points per minute. He's a high upside option one way or another, but if Bogdanovic is out, he does become even more appealing. Number 2, Alex Caruso, $4,000 with point guard and shooting guard eligibility. Caruso replaced Ayo Dosunmu in the Chicago Bulls starting lineup last game and played 32 minutes. I expect him to remain in the starting lineup for the foreseeable future. And he's averaged 0.85 FanDuel points per minute this season. He's likely to give you 30 to 32 minutes tonight. And Zach LaVine is questionable. If LaVine sits, then you could even see increased production from Caruso at this cheap price tag. And then number 1, coming in at a ridiculously high 67% ownership percentage, but with a 76% chance of being in the optimal lineup. Giannis Antetokounmpo is only $11,200 with small forward and power forward eligibility. He takes on the Chicago Bulls. The Bucks have the highest implied total on the slate at 121 points. Giannis will also be playing without Chris Middleton. We actually haven't seen much of a change in per minute production from Giannis without Middleton on the floor so far this season. He's averaged 1.72 FanDuel points per minute without Middleton, 1.71 FanDuel points per minute with Middleton. But we have seen a sizable bump in assist percentage for Giannis. He goes from 27.5% with Middleton on the floor to 36.3% without him. It would not be surprising as the sample gets larger to see Giannis's per minute production increase. And even if he does just maintain 1.7 fantasy points per minute, give or take, he still projects as the top scoring option on tonight's slate at a very reasonable price tag. So to recap, the top 5 tournament options on tonight's slate for FanDuel: number 5, Mitchell Robinson; number 4, Klay Thompson; number 3, Trae Young; number 2, Alex Caruso; and number 1, Giannis Antetokounmpo.